Hi everybody, welcome back to our Ephemera Folio. It's actually been a couple of days over the Thanksgiving holiday and a whole bunch of weirdness happening in our household, so I didn't get back to it. I've actually been working on this, sort of getting things ready so we can move along. So let's go ahead. We are making this folio sort of thing. And I filled the pockets with just sort of bases for things that we're going to make. And remember, we're going to add some paper here for writing. All right. So what I did is with this one, I went ahead and made, for these two pockets, the things that we're going to make. So we have samples for you to see the finished of what we're going to do here. I hope that makes sense. And then I have in this little box, a mess on my desk. Okay, so I have in here, on this side is mostly leftover ephemera from this collection, which is Christmas in the Country from Prima. And on this side, I have a bunch of Tim Holtz ephemera. And let me show you what I'm working with. This is a packet that's called Snippets, which are little tiny pieces or smaller pieces. So it's Christmas Snippets, ephemera pack from Tim Holtz. And then I have two of these Christmas ephemera packs. I think one's from last year, one's from this year. I'll see if I can find links for you where you can get them. I got one or two of these I got at Country Craft Creations, but I don't know if she has them in stock. If she does, I'll give you a link. If she doesn't, I'll find a link on Amazon or somewhere like that. Okay, so there's that. And then if you don't have those things or you're working with a different pack, that's fine. Just use what you have. And then as far as papers go, I have lots of scraps left from the 12 by 12, so I'm using quite a bit of that. But I also have the 8 by 8 that we started with for the bases, so you can use that. I'm using some of that. And, you know, again, this is definitely a use what you have project. All right, so I'm going to pull out these things from the first pocket, and that's what we're going to start with. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, so what we have in the first pocket is we have this little tag, and then we just have a cut apart from the collection, and then we have a journaling card. Okay, so those are the three things that we need for this pocket. So what I've got is I cut a rectangle 3 by 4 and then just cut off the shoulders. And let me show you how to do that in case you've not done it before. So I like to use longer scissors for this. So just find an angle that you like for your shoulders, cut it, save the little triangle you just cut off, line it up on the other side, get it even, there we go, and then cut right along that edge so that you have matching shoulders on either side. So that's how to do that. Okay, and as you can see, this is cut right out of pattern paper. All right, and there's a spot to punch a hole, so I might as well do that. I'm using my crocodile, but of course you can use whatever hole punch you have. Okay, so there's that. This is the cut apart. We don't need to do anything with that except maybe ink it, but I don't even know if I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to tuck that back in. That's done. And then we have this, which is the journaling card. So we really only have two things we have to make. So let's start with our tag. Let's tuck that back in there. Let's get this out of the way. All right. So this is very pretty as is. I'm kind of tempted. I think I'm gonna decorate this side because this side's kind of good for journaling. So let's decorate this side. So first off, I'm gonna give it an ink. And you can use whichever. I'm going to use the black soot. We're working with both black soot and vintage photo in this project. More black soot than the vintage photo. And I'm going to ink both sides. Excuse me. There we go. All right, so we just need to pick a few things, and I think we definitely want some music paper. And I mentioned in a previous video that I just downloaded from Etsy some Christmas music digitals, and that's what I'm using. And I also forgot to mention to you, I showed you what I had to work with in my last video. I also have, since then, I don't know if you can see the color on this. This is avocado dyed paper, and it's this really pretty dusty pink. And I made it myself. I just YouTubed, how to do it, and it was really easy. And so I have some of this too, which I think will go nicely with this collection. All right, so I just need to tear off a piece of this. I'm not going to do that yet because I want to see what else I have that I'm going to use. This is one of the Tim Holtz. I kind of pulled her out because I like her so much and I want to use her. Oh, I'm going to do the other side. Hang on. Okay, getting ahead of myself. But I don't think I'm going to use her on this. It's too big. Let's see, that's too big for this. I have the stocking, but it has the stocking on the other side, so I think maybe not that. The problem with using the ephemera that actually goes with the kit is it goes so well with the kit, it kind of blends in. It doesn't stand out. Like, see that? It just blends in. So let me look at some of this Tim Holtz and see what we've got that might be cute. I've got this 25. I like that. Okay, that's good. Let's use that. I've also got some scraps of the paper. I've kind of got these separated out by size, but I think I got them mixed up. We have this little Santa. Is it too much red? Just gonna, let's rip off some of this music. Put the 25 there. I like the idea of something a little taller, but not that Santa. And you know what, it's a little straight. I'm just gonna rip that. So it's more like a blob and less straight. Okay, so that's gonna go there and that's gonna go there. This small tree. No. If we do that, you'd have to put something on it. Oh, this is pretty. Let's set this aside. We may want to use that on the journaling card. This is why I went ahead and did the other one. Oh, there we go. Because I knew this was going to take a while. All right, so we've got this holly. I think that was my cat. It was Holly, my cat Holly. Sorry, dear, I wasn't talking to you. And we have that. Another one of those. Apparently I had more than one of several of these ephemera packs. There's that one, 2 of those. this is pretty. Again, I keep coming back to the red though. Maybe it's too much red. All right, maybe, let's get rid of this. Maybe we need to use something different. No, I like that a lot. As you can see, this is going to take a while. Oh, wait a minute. Got this little present. Maybe move 25. No, I still want the 25 at the bottom. Nope. You may not be as fussy as me. I just find that I'll be going along and eventually something will jump out at me as that's the thing I want. Kind of like that. Hang on. Maybe if we do that. Did I put that candy cane away? That might have been cute with this. I don't want too much stuff on there. Still has to go in the pocket. I think I'm just going to use those three things. Okay. I'll leave those out. Okay. Honestly, whatever you put is going to look nice. So, Holly, are you all right? So don't feel like you have to fuss as much as I'm fussing over every decision. Probably should have used vintage photo on that paper. I didn't even think, but that's all right. Now, I want to show you. Grab. I have this book, and I'm showing you this because this is how Gayle designed this album. If I didn't credit her, I know I credited her already in a previous video. She designed this little folio. This is how she puts down these things, especially these thin things like music paper. She uses this stick, but she uses the blue one, so it's easier to see. And uses an old book. Okay. And I usually use, as you know, art glitter glue for all this, and making sure my music is right side up. Okay. And then let's see, we just want to put that kind of like that. I'm just double checking where everything's going. All right. But I do see for these small things how handy the glue stick is. And I know she's been making projects for years and years, so if it didn't last or cause problems, she wouldn't be using it, so I'm giving it a try. But of course, feel free to use whatever adhesive you want to use. I kind of have been switching back and forth between the glue stick and my usual art glitter glue that I like. Sorry, I'm a little congested. It's first thing in the morning. So let's get rid of that. I do not know what the cat is doing. She's in the closet over there playing, so okay. So there is that. Cute. All right, let's get our book back. All right, so this is going to go in the front of this pocket, and it's going to have this behind it, and then we're going to have this. It's going to be a journal card. So let's look at the. So that's the one that I made for the other book. I used the pink avocado dyed paper on the back, and just sort of collaged the front a little bit. So let's see. I'm looking at my scraps. I know I have a couple of scraps in here, I think, but I think that most of them are over here. So we're going to want some music paper. So these are the 4x6 journal cards. And that's what all these are, and I don't think I'm going to use one of these, but these are paper scraps. We might use those. Let's see, these are cut parts. Here's a scrap, here's a scrap. Just kind of going through what I have. I guess that's a cut apart. It looks like a piece of ephemera. So there's a scrap. Want to look at the scraps for now. Okay. So we have our music paper, and on the original, which I don't have here, I used a whole lot of different pieces to collage. This one, I used a piece of paper, you know, something like that that's already collaged a lot. So let's pull that one. So I didn't have to use as many pieces of paper. And then we have this, which is actually really pretty. I'd be tempted to not decorate it in any way at all. Excuse me if I use that. Maybe we'll use that on the back instead of the avocado paper. Okay, so we have that. That's nice. And we could definitely add some things to that. And we have this music paper. And what else do we have that's kind of small? That, which is really should be vertical. So we could put that there, like that. And then some music paper maybe there. Don't worry if things hang off the edge, because we can trim. This is a nice one too. It's brighter, but we have some others to do, so we can use that there. See, that's pretty. The only thing is, let's bring the book back. We have to remember what's on the inside. See, it's not really going to show all that much on that. It'll be all right, but I don't think that's what I want. So let's work with these things that we have. I think those will work. And that music, which I don't even know what I did with it. Is it still there? What did I do with it? There it is. Okay, so let's work with those. Okay, I'm going to set aside my scraps. Set aside that. I'm putting that in there because I want to use it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now what we could do too, let me get, what? I'm looking for some coffee dye paper. If I have some handy, which I think I do. I think I want to go ahead and make a base from the coffee dyed paper. Just that way if anything shows through, it won't matter. Alright, so I'm just going to put that there. This is just artisan cardstock and craft, by the way, my base. Alright, just going to grab my little ruler that helps me tear. Okay. glue stick it down. Okay. I leave that handy. I'm going to need it if I keep going this way. All right, and then I'm just going to flatten that out with my bone folder. Okay, so that gives us a nice base to work on, and then we'll probably do, like I said, the pink on the back. All right, so let's see. I'm going to use this here. This edge is really white, but it's going to be inked, so it'll be fine. Let's put that there. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then this, I'm just going to rip the bottom off. It's going to go there, like that. And then, do we just want... just sort of... I'm going to tear this below that stocking. That way I can use that somewhere else. And then I'm going to tear it right about there. Okay. And then, so I'm going to take... Now, one thing that I did on the other one that I want to warn you about, and I'll show you in a second. And then I'm just going to put a piece of music paper there. So that's going to go sort of like that. Is on this one, I wasn't paying attention and I put my music paper like dead straight across and I kind of cut the tag in half, or the drawing card in half. That's why I added this piece here to just sort of break up that line. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to vintage photo the music paper. I'll vintage photo this one. Again, this is just completely up to you. Just do whatever you like. If you only have one color ink, use whatever color it is. All right, and then I'm going to use black soot. I just noticed I have an error on my computer where I'm recording the audio for this video. Okay, so I've had to reset some things and hopefully that's recording now. In the meantime, I still have the audio from my phone, which is not going to be great, but I can fuss with it probably and make it so you can hear. This is pretty thick, so I'm going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue. Okay. And we're going to do this one. Okay. is next. Yeah. And I think I'll use the glue stick for this little piece of music paper. Do I want to go that way or that way? I think that way. Like that. Okay, so we have our base, which we're going to decorate, and then we need to add something for the back. Like I said, I'm going to use the pink. Which is, again, this is avocado dyed paper, which I did myself, which was very easy. Like I said, just go ahead and YouTube it, but basically you just boil for an hour and a half, 2 hours, the skin and pits of a few avocados with the lid on, otherwise it evaporates too much. And then it makes this burgundy pink colored solution. And then you just proceed, to dip and dry your paper the way you would if you were coffee dyeing. You can see this one's darker on one side than the other. And I kind of like that dark side. Let's use the dark side on the outside. And you know what I'm going to do? No, I'm going to use the glue stick. One thing with the glue stick I'm finding is it gives you a really even adhesive coating. And when you're using these thinner papers, unlike, the designer papers, where I always use my art glitter glue, I don't get any rippling and stuff, or at least not much, the way I would with art glitter glue maybe. Go. There, and I've got a little bit hanging out the top, so I'm just going to trim that with my scissors. And there's a little bit of that rough edge on the sides, which I don't really mind, but my pockets are pretty narrow on this book. There's not a lot of leeway, so I'm going to go ahead and trim some of that off. Okay, there we go. So now we just need to add some decoration, and I had set aside this thing because it was a little bit tall. I thought that might work. May not be tall enough though. And then I also had these little bells that I liked that I had set aside, which are kind of neat. Just barely fit. I might even have to trim slightly. My only qualm with that is they probably look best at the top where I already have that big red bow. Oh, they look kind of nice down there too. Okay, let's just play. Let's see what we have. We have that. This is kind of giving me the same vibe as what I was talking about earlier, where it just kind of blends in. And I'll ink it, but I don't know how much it'll stand out even then. Let's see, I have this, which is a good bit taller than this one. It does blend in a little bit, but when it's inked, it will be all right. So suppose we use that. And do we want that too? Maybe not. Maybe. those instead. That's not bad. But definitely we need something there. We have this, which is from the Ephemera, and it does stand out a little more because it's got the red on it. I still think I like these holly leaves better. I feel like we need something there. There's already a lot of text. I don't think we need any more text. We had our little sledding girl. Go back to her. Kind of like that. That's a possibility. I still feel like this part of the tag could use something, but I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, let's do that. I like that. Okay, so I'm just going to add a couple of things. Get my ink. So we got that. I'm not really going to ink this thoroughly. I'm just going to go around the edges a tiny little bit just to knock down a little bit of that white. Same with the little girl, just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm going to bring this book over again so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm saying the worst part of doing this sort of junk journaling kind of stuff is that even the tiniest scrap is useful, so you can't throw away anything. Well, you can, but then you feel guilty about it, or you're sure that you're going to need that later. Okay. So we're just going to kind of center this top to bottom and in a little bit from the side. Okay. Then we're going to put her here just so we can figure out the placement of this thing. Kind of want this. I want to angle it quite. I don't want too much of that pink bow showing. All right, I'm gonna have to play with that again. But all right, and this is where using the glue stick is really handy on these fussy little pieces. Okay. All right, so let's put her back. Let's put that right about. Ooh, we'll put it higher than I meant, but that's okay. I think that's closer to where I originally had it. Okay, so there's that. All right, actually, that's good. Actually, I like that. I want to make sure it doesn't look like it's growing out of her head, because, like, see, like that would be weird. And I'm noticing as I'm inking this that there's a little spot there where the die cut hadn't popped out. Okay, so we're going to put this, over far enough that those leaves don't look like they're coming out of her head. There we go. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Then the last thing we need is Gayle uses fabric for these pulls, but I don't really have a lot of fabric or anything. I mean, I have some, but not much. So I just used some cardstock, folded in half. So let me get a piece. I have red, but I want burgundy. Cut a strip. I don't think you can see, but I'm just cutting a strip that's 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut it, I guess about 1.5, maybe 2 inches. We can always trim off some if we need to. Right, so I've got 3/4 of an inch by 2 inch. And then I'm just going to fold that in half, lining up the edges, just like that. And then we're just going to glue it up here. And I do feel like it's just a little long. I'm just going to take my scissors, take a little of the length off. And I'm just going to put it right there. Oh, I never put the pin back in my art glitter glue. No wonder my nozzle always gets clogged. I don't even see the pin. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you just want to glue. You need to glue both sides of this, at least at the bottom. And then we're just going to place that there. To get it where I want it. And just press it down. There we go. Alright, so now it's a little crooked, isn't it? Oof, can I fix it? A little bit. Okay. Alright, so let's get our books back. Alright, so these need to go back in. This one, put that there. There we go. So that goes in the back. Make sure you can see. All right, that one goes in the back, and then our little cut apart, and then our little tag, just like that. Okay. And then this one, we've already got our tag and our little cut apart, and that's going to go there. Good. All right, I think that we are at a good stopping point. And then when we come back, we will do this pocket. All right, so for that next pocket, we are using, where are they? These little bags, which are apparently available at Hobby Lobby, although I know I got mine at Amazon, so why they have a Hobby Lobby sticker on them, I do not know. So I will link where I bought these on Amazon. Okay, so we're going to use one of these, or if you can find them at Hobby Lobby, by all means. All right, I'll close that up. All right, well, this is fun. I'm having fun. Once again, thanks to Gayle Agostinelli for letting me do her project on my channel. I will link to her channel, and you can go and absolutely make sure you're following her. She does such wonderful things and posts every single day, pretty much. So, thank you again. I'll see you next time. We'll continue on with this fun project. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. It helps my channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.